This podcast is sponsored by Elevations. Do you want to distinguish yourself from everybody else in the competition? Do you want to get the absolute best buyers in the country? Do you want to close more accounts than anybody else in the market? Well, use Elevations. Welcome back to another episode of LA Legends, the podcast where Aflac pros sharpen their skills, share success stories, and build the next generation of leaders in the LA South market. I am Michael Fisher.
And I'm Michelle Lee. If you've ever questioned yourself, your system, or whether you're cut out for this role, this episode is for you.
Absolutely. And I'm really excited because we have one of our regional sales coordinator, Mr. David Hernandez, who David actually was a mentor to me. Also, when I was a DSC, he was my team's arch nemesis. And he's helped me in a variety of different topics, which is number one, just showing what's possible when it comes to closing accounts as a DSC, along with just being a decent human being. He's actually been a really good person to me in my entire life. So, Dave, we're going to kind of just dive right into it. But first off, welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you. First time caller, long time listener. So yeah, I'm excited.
For sure, man. So one thing we want to ask you is at the end of this podcast, what is one thing that you want everybody to actually take away from this thing?
Great question. I think activity, following the game plan, stay the course, activity. Can't do too much activity.
Yeah, I completely agreed on it. I was going to actually do a quick throwbacks in 2010, 2011, 2012, people are like, oh, wow. Like some of the people on our team now are like, dude, I was 9 during that time, but whatever. But during that period of time, from a new account focus, your district was closing, a minimum of 100. 1 year, what was your top year as a DSC?
100. That's the only plaque I kept from back in the last decade. 140 accounts.
140 accounts. That's what we thought. Of those 140 accounts, I think that was the year that my team challenged you guys, and you beat us by like 40, or 45, which was really embarrassing. Anyways, so what we want to actually dive into is like, hey, during those moments of like trying to put in like a huge emphasis on new accounts, how did you start getting your team aligned? What was the focus? And what's some advice that you can give for the up and coming DSCs or people that want to put up a big new account number?
So the first thing it's buying the vision, but also finding what's their goal, what's their why, where's the finish line for each individual, right? That, and we were just prospecting. We didn't use the phone so much, but it was going and knocking on doors.
Yeah. I always remember your team, you guys would absolutely knock on doors. You were there during like the phone blitzes that the market office was doing at that time. And then the other one is I think that you did a really good job of getting some pretty high performers to put up some big numbers. I mean, that was one of the, I think, underrated things that you did, which is that you and your RSC recruited some pretty good talent. And then you guys actually, one was an ex-hockey player. And you also had a bunch of like young guns that were closing 20, 30 accounts themselves. Some of them becoming future RSCs like Mike Keisha. And so, what are some of those other ones that like you could, tell people that would be really helpful?
Yes. So what's always worked for me personally is having a very simple system. Very, very simple. Hey guys, make 8 to 10 appointments a week. That's our job. That's our goal. I don't care how you get them, but get to 8 to 10 appointments a week, right? Knowing if you know the rules of the game, most likely you're going to win the game, right? So have those 8 to 10 appointments a week. Most likely you're going to run 4 or 5 of those. Out of those 4 or 5, you're going to close 1. So knowing that everyone knew the rules of the game.
Yep.
8 to 10 appointments. And again, it all starts with activity.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's important, right? It's the most fundamental controllable aspect of our business in so many different stages. So, let me ask you, so sticking on this 140 accounts that your team did, which is pretty phenomenal. I'm hoping we get district teams back up to that number as well, or even regions, that's important too. But how do you prioritize, that activity when everybody wants something from you?
Empowering people, because yes, I could only do so much,
Mm.
right? And having expectations since the beginning. Hey, look, the first 5, we're going to do everything for you from A to Z. We're going to teach you how to do from step 1 all the way to step 10. And 100% of the commission goes back to you. The only requirement is that we want you right there next to us learning how to do the staff like stuff. That's the only requirement. Eventually, we're gonna kick you off the nest. But again, having those clear expectations right up front, because you want to empower people. And the other thing that I use and I still use is like, look, I'm here to help you. If you still need help, right? Be more than happy to go and help and close accounts for you and even write the business for you. But now it's going to be a split. It's going to be a 90-10 split. And it's like, oh, David, you're so generous. You're only going to take 10%. Like, no, the other way around. I'm going to take 90. You're going to take 10. And how many of those do you think I ever did?
0.
0. 0. So yeah,
I
having
mean,
those clear expectations.
I don't. I think we actually lose sight of that. Of I'm happy to help you, but now I'm going to take a split. I think more common of what's come out in the last 4 or 5 years is, oh, I'll help you, and the agent
Forever.
taking a forever.
No, yeah. I mean, honestly, that I love that you said that, Dave, because we don't make behavior changes unless we're uncomfortable or if there's a little bit of pain. And that's a good example of like, hey, there's going to be a little bit of pain if we don't have a behavior change, and if you're not going to get out of the nest. And I think that that's a great way to do it, actually, because at first, this first 5, it's like, hey, it's on me, I got you, but you better be learning, because after that, we're moving on.
I appreciate.
I once heard say, if you want to teach someone a valuable lesson, tap into their wallet.
I
So
love that.
true.
That's a good one. I think Michelle and I, we want to stay on this moment of things that could be rough. What's that one excuse that you just want to kill?
The market's saturated.
Mm.
Everyone, everyone's been hit already. Yeah. There's no more accounts.
Yeah, man. We need to get some North Dakotans out here to teach us. Yeah, to teach us what's up about that
We
one.
don't even have to
That's a
go that
big one.
far. We don't even have to go that far for it's saturated. You can go to take people from Central California who live in a small town. They'd be like, "What are you complaining about?"
Yes. And how I kind of like started switching my mindset. I had someone here from Washington, and she was flying in, and we were back in the good old days when we used to help with the enrollments.
Mhm.
And she said, David, I live in a small town in Washington, and it takes me like 2 hours to go see, client. And you guys just walk out of your office and see, 10, 15 potential. How come you guys aren't closing more groups? And it's
Yeah.
like, you know what? Wow. I think it's a good thing that we have too many accounts, but also it's a bad thing that we have too many accounts because we don't cherish the ones that we have. That Dream 30.
Yeah, no, it's I totally agree. I know that I know it in my bones that we'd close more if we restricted our team to only having 100 that they could focus on a year. I know that we'd close more.
It's also that, in a previous episode, we've had a guest talk about like just cherry picking stuff. Like you walk out the door, she said you got 10 to 15. And instead of going to all of those 15, you like, oh, I think someone's probably hit this one up and then skip it. And then go to the next door. Oh, this block looks like it's already been hit. Because what the first door they
Yeah.
walked into, oh, well, Rep was here, last week. You're like, oh, I can skip this block. I'm just going to go to the next one. Or let me go across town. No one's been across town. Like, what? What is going on?
Yeah, like, going to the industrial park and like, they're really, really big buildings. So they're like, you hit 3 doors and you're like, oh man, I canvassed today. And it's like, no, you just went to 3 really large buildings. That's what you did today.
You took a nice walk.
Yeah, that's a good walk.
Gotta enjoy those nice walks. So I kind of want to stay, with as I mentioned, I asked you, how do you prioritize when everybody wants something? And I love that word when you say empower them, because I think we've all been through it when we first started as districts where we enable them, and then we get stuck in that rut of enabling them. So are there any daily non-negotiables that you've had, even in your role today, or even when you were a district even if you had a bad week, no matter what, some of that had to get done.
Yes. Again, most people will take the path of least resistance, right? And I'm still a big believer. Start your day at the office and end your day at the office. It's kind of like the gym. I don't go to the gym, but what people tell me is once you go to the gym, might as well work out.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I
Or
don't
you're
go to the
weird.
gym, but that's
Yeah.
what don't be the weird guy
Don't be the weird
walking
guy.
around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't be
So
weird.
kind of the same thing, the same analogy right here. Once you come to the office, some sort of activity. I mean, I'm here already, right? When especially brand new associates, when they said, "Hey, David, can we go over the disability plan, the accident plan, on a Monday at 10 a.m.?" Right? Maybe I'm just the only one who's ever had that experience. Or can we do this? Or can you help me with this? And I said, "Hey, yeah, I'll more than happy to help you. I'll see you here tomorrow at either 7 a.m. or today after 5 p.m. and we could talk about it."
Yeah.
Right? And again, it does.
That's gold, man. It's the toughest one because even for new DSCs or CITs or anybody, they're like, "Oh my gosh, an excuse not to prospect? That sounds amazing. Let's talk about that accident plan. That sounds fantastic." And yeah, I've seen that. Well, you know what? You're right. We need to do more training on role playing our prospecting conversation instead of actually doing it. So
But
no,
they're
I think
important.
yeah, they're important. It
They're
absolutely
important.
is.
But I think everything has its time.
It does. And honestly, I think that one of the things that we're going to really dive into with you is also just having kind of that system, because it does require to a system to scale up a district to do 140 accounts. We had one DSC last year that they were pacing towards it. They ended up at like 95, I think. And I wanted to talk about two things with that. So when you're going into like from a system standpoint, what does this system actually look like? So one of them I think is obviously you just hit it is like the actual hours, but also there's other parts inside of that system that I think are really important. So you talked about expectations. What are some other big ones for you?
The other ones, it's after the close. I think we don't touch on it enough, right? Because hey, look, we're busy. We're busy. We got to move on to the next one. I mean, we're a growth, we're a sales organization. Like,
Yeah.
all right, we got this one. Let's move on to the next one. Let's move. Because our PM, I get graded on how many accounts I have, how much AP I have. But I think the one that most of us miss, and we miss big, right, is that service binder. Is that after the close, then what happens? Yeah. During those years,
Yeah.
yeah, we opened up a lot of accounts, but we also lost a lot of accounts, right? And the number one reason why we lose accounts, again, it's because of us.
Hmm.
Because of us. That would be the hey, if open up an account, hey, make sure you know what to do. You know what to do afterwards, so you can keep that account.
This episode is sponsored by Sales School, so make sure you attend ACLAC 404 for account retention coming up a couple times a quarter. One that falls through the cracks is servicing and that post enrollment. Sometimes when you're on that wheel and you're like, oh, I'm doing so good about this. And then all of a sudden invoices aren't paying their bills. They're not asking for referrals. They're working harder versus smarter to really scale their own business. Funny enough, I was having this conversation about, how this is a difference. We were talking about eMyth. eMyth
Mhm.
is such a foundational a book for a lot of people trying to move into leadership of who's that technician and who actually moves out of that and knows how to delegate and leverage others in that system to actually grow and be that entrepreneur. And we spend a lot of time talking about that through, probably every single quarter, don't we, Michael?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Dave, one of them too that it's one of those that we did it so well that we stopped doing it, and especially when we were chasing you, it was one of the things that hit my pocketbook, like you were talking about earlier when I was a DSC, was year one. We talked about this last night. Actually, I missed the Whistler Fame trip because of my no pay as a first year district. I missed out probably on at least 50 grand in bonus that year, and so that hurt really, really bad. And the system that ended up going in place was the service binder. It was so simple. As a region, the easy one for me was getting my team to start focusing on doing the recurring auto draft. And in the last year, getting people to do Aflac always, I was like, why didn't we do this? This is so like, it actually takes like extra 2 minutes, and like I get paid more money for the rest of my life. That sounds like it's such a freak. It makes so much sense. I don't know why we didn't do that. But the other one is like, you actually get referrals. So that's one that I always would forget about. At any point, have you guys had any big like successes on referrals, or has it always been just go after new?
It's always been after go new.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
again, because we have those blinders, right? Hey, we got this one. Let's move on to the next one.
Hmm.
We're busy here. And yes, this huge opportunity right there. Nobody loves cold calling. Nobody loves canvassing. I mean, you got to be sick if you love cold calling. You got to be sick, right?
Yeah, no, something's broken. We have to lie to ourselves and do some self affirmations, being like, "Yes, I love making cold calls in the morning," and screaming it into a mirror. But yeah, that's yeah, 100%.
Before we dive into, when things aren't clicking, I wanted to ask, I think the three of us we understand systems, right? Where we are today and how it plays a factor in our development and growth as individuals in this industry to be able to scale the way, the three of us have in the past. David's still in a position doing that today as a region. But why do you think people sometimes just don't trust that system that we tell them this is how we do it? We show them this is how we do it, and then they go, "I'm gonna try it this way."
That's the one that I don't get it. That's the one that the $1 million question, right? Hey, I'm not even asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to trust the system. And the reason why I trust the system is because it's a proven system, not because we're so great, but because it's a proven system. After you try the system, you don't like it, you can do whatever you want, right? But trust the system. I think it's what we were mentioning before. We take the path of least resistance
Yeah,
because the system's hard, right? Because the system, you have to go to work, and again, it's human nature. So
yeah. I'm glad that you were just talking about that. I mean, it's funny, not to bring this up, but we were in the office yesterday, and one of we'll leave them unnamed, but they're like, oh, only reason why that person's closing accounts is on that team is because of their accent. And I was like, actually, the one without the accent's closing more accounts, but good try. But yeah, yeah, this whatever. That's it's one of those where it's like, no, they actually just are, operating and doing the system, but that's okay. Yeah, accents. Let's use that. That feels better. Oh man.
going back to that system, the system. Actually, talking to the new agents, and I was trying to make them understand that the agent, you have to be different than every other person that walks through their door. You have to be different than every other person that calls, right?
Yeah.
The good thing we have is the brand. We have the brand, but why would someone do business with you? You gotta be different. Okay.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, you need to be sharper, more prepared, more charismatic yourself. I mean, Johnny was actually saying that yesterday. I thought it was cool too. He was telling Melissa, like, be yourself. The more that you're you, I mean, people are going to be attracted to that. And I loved hearing that advice. That was so cool.
And again, going back to the system, well, someone brand new who doesn't come from sales, insurance background, well, where do I even start? Well, that's why we have elevations. That's a start.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You're different than just the email. You're different than just the phone call, right? Handwritten letter, the article, just you showing up. That's different. That's different.
It absolutely is. So one of the ones that we wanted to actually ask you about, of like staying on that exact same theme. So you're talking about obviously leveraging the system. You talked about the easiest part of the system is focused on the actual activity in order to get to, you said always 8 to 10 appointments on a weekly basis. So I guess like what are some of the like non-negotiables that people should have even on bad weeks when things aren't going magically?
Monday's your calling day. Monday's your church. Like you go to church on Sunday, and that's it. Monday is your prospecting day, right? And I told the district, don't take any appointments on a Monday. Don't take any appointments on Monday, right?
Mhm.
Because what's going to happen is we're not going to do the activity, and then human nature says, well, I'll just make it up tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and something else popped in, and I'll just do it tomorrow. I'll triple the
Yeah.
activity tomorrow. So the step number one, right? It's that Monday. Hey, I don't take any appointments, right? Unless it's an enrollment, and the enrollment has to be big, and the enrollment has to be, again, everyone could decide what, like, you go into that 3-man taco shop on a Monday,
Yeah.
probably not worth it.
Yeah, well, and the big one is also, especially if you're in a leadership role, you have 3 people that are newish, or even if they're your veterans that are looking up to you, and they're alone without their sales leader on that Monday, looking around. And so it's kind of like, going back to the gym analogy, it's like their personal trainer is like, I got other things going on. You're not that important. I'm gonna go to, help close this wait. Oh, that got no showed. And then it's like, okay, by the time the district comes back, no one's in the office anymore. And they're like, oh, this is great. Easy day. But
I worked
like
a lot.
Yeah.
it works so much. But financially, it's devastating for especially a newer DSC where it's like, man, that you're losing productivity on 4 or 5 people, which is bad. And you aren't able to influence people. Again, it's not scalable. It's a tough one. So I love protecting that Monday, and it's such an easy one. I guess I'm not going to prompt you on this one, but like, how many Mondays did you miss as a DSE when you were operating at 140 accounts in a year?
I could probably count. With my
Yeah.
fingers how many. I've changed now, right? Because now I take vacation.
Yeah, no,
but
vacation's fine. I actually mean like for an appointment. I mean, when we were chasing after you, I could tell you that year, I did not miss one Monday as far as an appointment, because it was shocking. Business owners will meet you the other 4 days a week too. It's crazy.
it's crazy. It's crazy. Yes. So no. So going back to the, hey, what's the non-negotiable? If we just start there, like, hey, I don't have a system, or I want to get better, right? Start there. If I'm new district building a team, you want to set the tone. Hey, Mondays, this is we're the thermostat, right? This is the temperature. This is what we're gonna do, right? Just start right there, Monday.
I love that advice, man. And it's funny because I think on February 9th, this will be coming out after it, but Super Bowl Monday is my favorite Monday as a leadership test. It is such a good one because, it's like, hey, what's more important right now? The nursing that little hangover that you got the night before? I mean, February in general is a leadership test, I think, because, January, we feel like we have a lot of meetings and stuff. We kind of do. You're also getting up and running and a little bit of the hangover. So February is my favorite because it's a time where people either lock in, or they're like, oh, you know what, the 2% market penetration, it's saturated. It's saturated.
Attracting and keeping the best talent means offering more than just a paycheck. Aflac Value Added Services delivers real-life support for your team. Financial wellness through BrightDime provides employees with the real-time, holistic financial picture to help improve spending habits, create budgets, and tackle debt reduction. Employees can keep track of all financial accounts so they can set goals and track progress towards establishing financial security. Aflac Value Added Services, because supporting your team means supporting their whole well-being.
Okay, David, digging into a little bit of what's just when things aren't going right. Because, you've said first time caller, the, a follower, but, what happens, when things aren't going well, to still be able, like, what actually goes through your head, like, when things just are not hitting the way they should be hitting?
Okay. Well, a couple of things I've learned from previous mentors is always I can't say this, but you complain up. You know what I'm saying? You always
Yeah.
complain up.
Yeah.
You never complain down.
You can
That's
say it.
So that's rule number one. Never let your team down in a way.
Yeah.
You still have feelings, right? And feelings are neither good or bad. It's just what you do with those feelings that's good or bad. You're allowed to have a pity party. I have a pity party, internal pity party. And then we said, okay, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna fix this? We see that this is a mess. This is that. This is not working. How are we going to fix it? And come up with the solution. I've always been the one that if something's not going right, I seek to the people that are doing it right, and I pick up the phone. Right? I mean, Mikey, how many times did I call you?
Yeah, and I called you too, 100%.
You know, your five. You call it the board of directors, right? That the people that you pick up the phone and call, and they'll take your call. And the beautiful thing about Aflac, our culture, is everyone's willing to share secrets here, right? Because we all stole secrets from somebody else. So that's the thing. All right, this is the problem. How are we going to move forward? And it's a choice. It's a choice. You could either stay mad, what good is that going to do? Or you can make a choice, and the only thing that can't be fixed is death. Other than that, everything could be fixed.
That's the truth, man.
Love that. Okay, Michael Fisher, are you ready to move to rapid fire?
Yes, absolutely. So I have a couple, but one of them we're going to start off with the billboard question. So we were in our last conversation, we were talking about how you guys are right off the 405, which is great, and there is plenty of traffic there. So if you can remove that big Call Jacob billboard and make it the David Hernandez billboard, and make it say one statement to the team, the market, that they see you coming in and out of the office every single day, what would that billboard say, Mr. Hernandez?
Well, first of all, Mr. Hernandez is my dad. the one that I said, all right, when I get my own office, I'm going to put it up in the wall. Is this very simple. Amazing things happen when people show up and go to work.
Amazing
That's a
things
good
happen
one.
when people show up and go to work.
It's a simple one.
It's a great one. I love that. It's just show up, go to work.
Show up, go to work.
I was actually, funny enough, I was watching a movie last night, and what it had to do with like just rules, had to do more with like cooking, believing in yourself, and so forth. And the last rule was show up. Just show up.
Just show up.
You'd be surprised. Well, David, you are quite a calm individual since I've always known you, actually. I was going to ask this question. I was like, I think
Is this before the 3-course light or after 3-course light? Which David are we talking about?
Yes.
both of them, you know what I mean?
The
Like,
old-fashioned.
yeah, the old-fashioned coming out. But I think I'm going to change it up a little bit. If you could have one button on your desk, a button kind of like that. What is that, Staples button?
Easy.
Button? Like that. Doesn't have to be that one. What would that button be?
Oof, not to worry. Don't worry. I'm a warrior. I'm a
That's a good
warrior.
one.
Don't worry,
man.
bud.
Yeah, that's a great one. Remember, I only ended up reading like the first 3 chapters, but John Maxwell's How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. That one was pretty helpful. That I think I need to revisit yearly. That's a good one, Dave. Okay, so that was very honest, and I just appreciated this, Dave, because you also told us, and we also have the idea of getting you back on because you've been pivotal for me on talking about money, finances, things like that. So we definitely want to throw a teaser out there of doing a future episode on that. But if somebody here is just listening and they feel like, hey, I'm a little bit behind, a little bit discouraged or on the edge, what's just a final thing that you think that they need to hear?
All right. So if you're a 10%er, this is not going to apply to you. All right. And you know who you are. If you're a 10, I want to talk to the C average student, which that's me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just stick to it. Right? I've been here for 19 years, and I'm never going to be the greatest. I know that. I'm never going to be the top. I know that, right? But you could make a great career here at Aflac if you just stick with it, right? I think Dan Amos' famous quote is like the elevator. Sometimes you go up, sometimes you go down. Just don't get off the elevator, right? Just stick with it. It's rewarding. It's rewarding. It's not just the good old Adam Michaels, emotionally, professionally, financially, right?
Yeah.
Stick with it. Show up, go to work. Show up on a Monday, right? Make the activity. It will pay off. You got to go in. You got to work anyways. Might as well. I mean, you have to work. So might as well work for you, not just for you, but for your future.
That was beautiful, man. Honestly, that was incredible. I appreciate you also would tell me that exact same thing. You're just like, hey, don't get off, just stay. So I've always appreciated that, and I appreciate the friendship, the advice. So yeah, we're definitely gonna be doing this one again. We really appreciate you, man, and everything that you're doing for your team and for us. So let's turn it over to Michelle. I'll let you close this out, Miss Lee.
David, it was pretty amazing to have you on this episode. So thank you so much. And you guys, thank you for listening to the LA Legends. It's built in the grind, not just the highlight reel. And if this episode hit, share it with someone who's still fighting. Until next time, keep learning, growing, and leading with purpose.